Yes, I think so. Maybe I can invite Tayfun Hoca for his opening speech. You are mute, Tayfun.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Selin, again. We are here for the Energy Communities workshop of SolarHub Ignition program as part of the SolarHub project that we are conducting between Turkey and Greece. We have an accelerator program which has several phases, and we are in the ignition phase in 2024. And within the scope of this ignition accelerator program, we have a series of workshops for that was intended actually for the participants of the ignition program, but we have arranged this meeting to be open to the general public. So we have we have several attendees from both countries and elsewhere, I guess. And today, as I said, our topic will be about the energy communities, which has a very critical role in the transition to clean energy in the future. There are certain advantages of using the energy communities, as well as some obstacles in front of it or difficulties, and there should be some really well-informed approaches in order to come up with successful energy communities. So in this workshop, we will be talking about the major actors in the energy communities environment, and then what could be the solutions, the technical solutions, what could be the solution providers, what is the role of governments and local authorities, as well as the NGOs and the regulators. And we will talk about the business models which will enable the energy communities, and how self-consumption relates with energy communities. And we will be also talking about briefly about how these energy communities can be funded. Most of the presentation will be done by our colleague from Electra Energy, Dimitris Kitsikopoulos. Yes, Dimitris, the floor is yours now.
Hello, thank you very much, Typhoon. Yes, hello, I'm Dimitris. I will share a screen that we have prepared together with Elsen and Typhoon and Celine. So I will try to share my screen. Just give me one moment. Can you see it now? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess you see the transition. Okay, so this workshop it is organized as part of the SolarHub Ignition Accelerator. It will be about energy communities. We will talk about the topic of energy communities. We need to be aware that this is a topic that it is really sensitive to the national context of each country. So we will focus mainly in Greece and Türkiye. We will not go into so many details today, but we will speak about several things, and of course we will have the opportunities to discuss it further at some other point. So regarding the SolarHub project, I don't know if someone else would like to say a few words about the SolarHub, maybe Celine or someone else, or I can just read it.
Of course, for SolarHub, we are an excellent sub-project. Our aim is to bring four strengths of stakeholders, meaning that academia, civil society, business, and policymakers together to work on an creation of an excellency in SolarHub. So, in fact, today's webinar is just serving to this aim perfectly. Dimitris is representing NGOs, the wing of civil society in our project, and this is I think the first time as a consortium we are doing such an organization, the international one. So it means a lot. I think overall we will dive deep into project with the upcoming events. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So a few words about us. We're not an energy community, although we are working explicitly and exclusively on this subject. We are an NGO, a non-governmental organization that supports energy communities, of course in Greece, but also in neighbor countries and to a broader sense all over Europe. So we were established in 2016, and as I said already, we work exclusively on that. Our four main pillars are research, action research through projects like SolarHub. We try to better understand what is going on in the field, how energy communities work, what are the obstacles, what are the opportunities, what are the barriers, etc. So we work a lot on research activities and on research programs as well. We work a lot on capacity building and awareness raising because this is something that it is absolutely necessary, like what we do today. There are citizens, there are municipalities, there are local companies that are very keen to learn about energy communities. So this is what we do. We organize events like the one that we are implementing today to share our expertise and the knowledge that we have gathered. We work a lot on the field, as we say. We work a lot with local communities, again, SMEs, societies, municipalities. We help them to create energy communities, or in cases where the energy communities are already there, we help them to expand their portfolio, to include additional services, additional products. So we are there from day one, let's say, throughout the lifetime of their projects. And finally, and probably the most important part of our work is policy making, lobbying, advocacy. We work with, especially with ministries, not only in Greece, but in other countries and at European level, to promote an enabling framework, a supportive framework for developing the model of energy communities. So another thing that it is quite important to know is that we are members of RESCOP EU. RESCOP EU is the European Federation of Energy Communities. It is located in Brussels, but there are members from all over Europe. Of course, there are members from Turkey as well. We're members of the Climate Action Network. We recently joined this network in 2024, this year, and we are also part of the Community Park Coalition. So from what you see, we are part of members. We are members of organizations that work on this field, and through them, we have the possibility to collect knowledge, to collect information, and to share it with you and with other stakeholders. Yeah, I don't know if someone would like to say a few words about Gunam and other.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Thank you, Dimitris. Can we go back to yes, ODTÜ Gunam? You. So I'm a senior researcher in ODTÜ Gunam. So let me give a brief information. But before that, let me tell you that the SolarHub project has the main idea of developing the solar energy innovation ecosystems in both countries so that we can develop new innovative solutions for the energy solar energy industry and solar energy sectors. And one way for the solar energy to develop is, of course, the energy communities. And the way we approach the SolarHub project is to have a quadruple helix, so that so-called quadruple helix, where we have the academia and the research organizations, the businesses, the industry, the government organizations, and civil societies. So the presence of Electra Energy and also Günder is from the civil society side, And ODTÜ Günam is a research institute, so we are the academia partner of the one of the academia partners of the quadruple helix, and we have been established in 2009 as a part of METÜ, and we are our sole focus of research and innovation is about solar energy technologies. So we are trying to improve the solar energy technologies and support the industry as well as the public with our new innovations and with the results, outputs of our research and development activities. And we are located in Ankara, in the campus of Middle East Technical University. So now Esen can continue with Günder.
Hi everyone, this is Esen from Günder. We are a Turkish Solar Energy Association and Turkey's leading and oldest solar energy NGO. We have lots of European projects experience, and one of our main job is policy advocacy, legislative works, training, education for renewable and climate projects. Also in these solar projects, we are working as a partner of networking and communication solutions. We aim to popularizing this sector and for urban politics, for a lot of economics, we can share these renewables for everyone. So these community energy projects and all of the details about these cooperatives are so important for us. We are believing that solar is for everyone. So this is a part of solar project and community energy projects. Thank you all.
Thank you, Elsen. Throughout the presentation, I would encourage and invite both Elsen and Typhoon to interrupt me. I'm not able to see you, so anytime you wish to jump in and to add things, you're more than welcome, of course. So now we will start explaining a few things about what an energy community is. We need to be aware that this webinar is trying to cover both the context of Greece and Türkiye, so it is quite hard because the context is, especially when it comes to the legislation, is different. So unfortunately, we will not be able to go into details. If it was, for instance, a webinar exclusively about Türkiye, we would be able to go into more details. Or on the other hand, if it was about Greece, again, we would be able to go into details. Unfortunately, we're not able to do this today. So the idea is just to open the discussion, to put on the table some key concepts, and of course, as SolarHub and as individual organizations, we are here to continue the discussion afterwards, and you're more than welcome to place your questions and to continue the communication. So very in a more generic, let's say, manner, an energy community is actually a collective initiative. It is not, we're not talking about individual action, like, for instance, installing a solar panel on our rooftop, which is fine. But here we're talking about something that we do it collectively. The main, let's say, stakeholders in this initiative are citizens, individuals, families, households, of course, businesses, mainly local businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, and public entities. And from what we see from our experience, the most active public entity is the municipality. But in other cases, we also see the engagement and the contribution from regional authorities and other local public entities. So what they do, they come together to produce energy, of course, but it is not only about energy production. And as we will see, the energy production was, and it is still, a very important thing. But now we need to find ways to manage this energy that is produced in a smart way. We need to store it and to use it when we need it, and to share it among the different stakeholders. And of course, the main topic is about renewable energy sources. It is not really about other kinds of sources. So the main pillars are the collective action, the three stakeholders, which are families, individuals, businesses, and municipalities, let's say. And we're talking about the production, but also the management of the energy that is produced. Um, the main aim is to enhance local energy independence, to empower the members, namely, again, families, SMEs, and municipalities, to increase and to promote the use of renewable energy, to promote, of course, the use of, as we already said, the smart management of the energy that is produced, for instance, to increase the efficiency, to save energy, and of course to have a strong economic benefit for the members, but also there are some significant social benefits, not only for the members, but for the wider society. So here are some main, let's say, buzzwords that are associated in a good sense with energy communities. One is about social innovation, because at the end of the day, this is what an energy community is about, is a different way of organizing the production and the management of energy resources. So it is a social innovation, it is an organizational innovation, it is a different way of organizing ourselves. Otherwise, one example that I bring often is that when we see a solar park of an energy community and a solar park from a private investor, it is exactly the same outcome. It is a solar park, a 100 kilowatt, let's say, solar park. But the solar park that belongs to the energy community has a different governance models, as we will see later on, has a different way of distributing the profit, distributing the benefits to a wider group of beneficiaries. So the most important thing is about social innovation and organizational innovation, to be even more specific. Of course, we cannot do all that without the technology. We need the technological innovation. We will say a few words about it later on. We're talking about just transition. We are well aware that we are in a transition phase from to renewables, but what we are aiming for is for this transition to be as fair and as just as possible. And of course, energy communities are a key stakeholder and a recognized stakeholder to that end. Energy communities work a lot on energy poverty, so this is another thing that it is usually associated to energy communities. They help to alleviate and to tackle the phenomena of energy poverty. Of course, they help a lot on local development. And another thing that they do is because they have the ability to collect and to gather and to build very broad synergies, they're very good on improving the social acceptance, the public acceptance of renewables. For instance, if a private investor goes to a mountain to install a big windmill, usually in some cases there are, this a strong dispute, and there are local societies that are against it. But we have seen if these local societies are organized in an energy community, and they see the benefits, both economic but also the social and the environmental, the chances of having this project accepted is increasing. So the members, we have already talked about it. There are three key stakeholders. One is natural persons, namely households, for instance, and families, local SMEs, and municipalities and other local authorities. The governance model usually has, again, it depends on the context of each country, but at least in Greece, and I think it is more or less the same in Turkey and in other countries, they use the cooperative model, where there is a general assembly, a group of citizens, a group of natural and legal entities, other legal entities, where they come together, they create this general assembly, they vote for the board of directors. So the two boxes, the yellow boxes, are the two, let's say, pillars of the energy community. Of course, and they are the ones that have access to vote. They have the decision-making capacity. And of course, there are other usually key groups, for instance, some external partners, service providers. We will dive deeper later on this field, because after all, the SolarHub Ignition program is about engaging startups and SMEs in this field. We have internal working groups. It's group of members that they come together to discuss and to decide on specific topics. For instance, could be social topics, for instance, on how to improve the social acceptance of a project or how to design a new project. This is an internal working group. And usually, if the energy community is very big, they hire a director and his or her team to help with the management of the energy communities. If the energy community is not very big, they usually don't have the money to do this. So the board of directors is also are the ones that are actually managing the energy community and the day-to-day activities. So now we will have a look on the context in Europe, in Greece and in Türkiye. So regarding the European directives, we had a European directive about several years ago in 2018. It was called Clean Energy Package for All, and that was the first time where the term energy communities was introduced. And not only that, there was a description about what an energy community is, and of course there was a provision to a call to all member states to transpose this directive into the national legal frameworks. So that was back in 2018. And after that, there are a few more directives that have been followed. One has to do with, was about the electricity market directive. I think that was 1 or 2 years ago. Then there was the second renewable energy directive, and now there is the third renewable energy directive. So in all these directives afterwards that followed the first directive that introduced the term of energy communities, everywhere the term of energy communities is repeated again and again. And this encouragement to member states and other countries, of course, to create frameworks about energy communities is keep repeating. I mean, it is a very, very high priority of the European Commission to have this model as a new energy player and a new player in the energy market. So apart from, let's say, public entities, apart from private investors, there is this third pillar, this third player that is has been promoted a lot. And of course, we as Electra, we work a lot on that. So in Greece, before we go to Turkey, a very brief few words about it. So as we have seen, the first, the clean energy for all package that was introduced in 2018 that led to the introduction in Greece of legislation 4513, where it was the first time in Greece where the term of energy communities was described and the activities that they can do and what would be the supporting incentives to promote energy communities. And then 5 years after that, actually last year in 2023, there was a second legislation. It was the legislation 5037, where 2 additional terms that are in accordance to the European directives of Renewable Energy Directive and Energy Electricity Market Directive, the renewable energy communities and the citizen energy communities were also introduced. It looks a little bit complicated, and it is right now. In Greece, we have, let's say, 3 different energy communities. Before 2018, we had none, we had 0 definitions about energy communities. Nobody knew about them, and now we have 3 different provisions. Of course, the good thing is that all of them, the energy communities, the renewable energy communities, and the citizen energy communities are very closely linked to each other. Of course, there are differences, but I will not go now into these differences. Let's say that it is a same group of family. From now on, we will keep calling them energy communities. There is another slide before we go to Turkey. You see here the expansion of energy communities from where it started in 2018 until 2023, and now we will have soon the figures about 2024. So there is a continuous growth of the introduction, the creation of energy communities, and this is about the installed capacity. Anyway, it's more or less the same story. More and more energy communities coming in, more and more projects, community energy projects are implemented. So yeah, I don't know who is going to say a few words about the context in Turkey regarding that.
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Dimitris. Actually, in Turkey, the concept of the energy community is relatively new than Europe, but rapidly growing. And Turkey's vast renewable energy potential, particularly in solar energy, and position it is an ideal country for such initiatives. However, the development of energy communities still faces regulatory challenges because the legal framework supporting this model is in its early stages. And Turkey holds, as I said, significant potential for energy communities because of abundant solar and wind resources. But the development of such communities faces a critical challenge, the legal framework, and it is still evolving. At present, the only legal structure available for energy communities in Turkey and it is through cooperatives actually, and which is limits the flexibility needed for broader community engagement. This creates regulatory hurdles actually, as there is no comprehensive legal framework that supports decentralized energy sharing models. So overcoming these challenges will be key to unlocking Turkey's full potential in renewable energy production. Besides, there are some applications about the energy communities via cooperatives in Turkey, and I think this will be presented by Esen, the next slide. And can you change the slide, Dimitris? Dimitris, can you step? Yes, thank you. And in broader context, actually, a recent report by Strategic Perspectives highlights the urgency for Europe to keep pace in the global clean energy race dominated by China and USA. This applies to Turkey as well because it must align with European energy strategies to stay competitive. While Europe currently remains competitive in clean energy investment, it faces risks, especially as China aggressively pursues global leadership in clean technologies. According to this report, China accounts for 39% of global net zero investment in 2023. Turkey's progress in the energy community space must be seen within this context, as it navigates both opportunities and challenges posed by global competition and European Union regulatory alignment. On the contrary, actually not. On the ground in Turkey, energy community projects primarily focus on the solar PV installations, especially in regions with high solar irradiance, like Mediterranean and Aegean. However, significant efforts are needed to establish a robust legal framework for decentralized energy production and sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we will continue with something that it is, I don't know if it is super important. We will talk about some technologies, and we need to talk about some energy technology, some technologies that could be utilized by energy communities. Of course, that does not apply only to energy communities, but also to other. Just sorry, one moment. Έχω μια ώρα, ναι. Είναι δύο. Sorry about that, but I'm on a trip and I'm using the room of another organization. So we will say a few words about the technologies. Some of them, most of them apply, of course, to other, not only to energy communities, but to other forms as well. So, of course, energy communities can use solar, of course, solar PVs, etc. I will go very, very fast on that because, as I said, it is not dedicated only to energy communities. One thing that we focus a lot on SolarHub is agri-PVs. Now we are trying to develop a community-based agri-PV in an urban environment. So this is something that we are working on, and this is something that other energy communities are also working on. Of course, they are encouraged and they should also work on bigger projects. Energy communities, one thing that we need to make clear is not about doing small things. It is not about a small bunch of people, like 5 or 10 friends, that they come together and they install a solar a solar panel on their rooftop or a rooftop of a local school. We see energy communities with thousands of members where they do big projects, big wind farms, onshore, offshore wind farms. So energy communities can utilize this this technology at a small scale, medium scale, or even bigger scale. Hydro is another thing. Biomass, biogas is also another thing. We will say additional things about the business models later on, and based on the business models, we will of course talk again about the different technologies. But maybe Typhoon or someone else would like to say a few words about that, or shall I continue?
Yeah. Yes, Dimitris, thank you. Especially in case of energy communities, there are certain issues that must be addressed. And first of all, the community needs some solutions, especially in order to arrange the activities in between the community members. There should be some enabling technologies like the digitalization solutions for energy sharing and energy storage systems. Then can come into the picture the energy flexibility issues, and the consumption model will be significantly changed with the introduction of electric vehicles. And there will be, of course, the prosumer models. That's why, can we go to the next slide, please, Dimitris? Yeah, that's why some underlying technologies like the smart meters, which will measure the amount of electricity generated and consumed, and on a time basis, maybe some energy storage units. If we are talking about a smaller scale implementation within a certain physical community, geographic community, then we can be talking about DC nanogrids. There must be some kind of energy management platform, which is actually a software, probably web-based software solution which will organize the processes between the partners of the community. And then there can be some, in some cases, peer-to-peer trading platforms, which require some kind of trade between the partners, which means some kind of contract management, which brings into the picture the blockchain based technologies, so that these energy contract can be managed very quickly and efficiently, and some smart home technologies which will again allow the control and which will enable the flexibility technology. So these are some innovative usually digitalization-based solutions for energy communities. Yeah, thank you, Dimitris.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we see many energy communities to work on these different topics, and of course, they're not able to do it on themselves. They don't have the expertise, they don't have the knowledge to do it. But what we have seen, and we will explain it again later on, we have seen that the energy communities provide the platform. I mean, they bring the citizens. They are very good at engaging the local society. They bring the citizens. They bring the local SMEs. They bring the local municipalities. They bring the demand for energy. And then what we see synergies with startups, with solutions providers, with research institutions, with academic institutions, and they join forces very, very often. We see it again and again. Also in research programs, in European research programs, we see that they are trying to explore how the society can actually use and utilize and make use of these different smart technologies. So there is an enormous room for and so many opportunities for startups to collaborate with energy communities and to develop together in a more participatory way how these different models can be actually in the use of the society. We will keep repeating that because this is what we really want to highlight today, because our main target group is, of course, startups that are interested to develop different technologies and different platforms and different products. So we bring the community energy perspective, and we would like to encourage you to work together to identify energy communities in Turkey, in Greece, in other countries, and to work together, because there can pop up very interesting synergies. Now, very related to what I have already mentioned is what we are trying to do now is to do some mapping of the different actors and roles around the energy communities, because energy communities are the main, let's say, pillar, but around them there is a very wide group of actors that can work together with energy communities. The first and most important are the regulators, and before that, even the governmental authorities. For instance, the Ministry of Energy are the ones that are drawing the legislations, the regulatory frameworks on what an energy community is. This is one thing, the first thing, to introduce the energy community model in the legal context. But the second and most important thing is what an energy community can do. Okay, so we have the energy community, and we have created a legal framework for describing what an energy community is, how can someone become a member, what is the process of creating an energy community. But then we need to have specific business models and specific incentives for citizens and other stakeholders to join the energy community. So the role of the Ministry of Energy, and other ministries, the Ministry of Development, it really depends on each country, is very crucial here. And also the regulatory authorities, for instance, the Regulatory Authority of Energy is very crucial. And one thing is, of course, for energy communities to have a direct dialogue with them. A second, let's say, group by itself are the grid operators at the low and medium voltage operator, the DSO, or the transmission system operators, the TSOs. They are the ones that usually issue the permit for a solar park, for a wind park, whatsoever. So they have also a very, very, very crucial role. So even if we have a model for energy communities, if we have supportive business models for energy communities, then we need licenses, we need permits in order to implement the actual projects. And the role of grid operators, especially when it comes to electricity is very crucial. Then usually energy communities work with the suppliers, energy suppliers, and again, depending on the different business models, they work with aggregators. Aggregators could be aggregators that group the production, or aggregators, a new form of aggregators that they group the demand. So in the first case, we have aggregators of production aggregators. Let's say in the second group, we have demand aggregators that can participate in balancing markets and demand response and other activities. We will say a few words about it later on as well. Then we have another pillar, another group of stakeholders are the environmental NGOs, national and international organizations. For instance, national organization is the, let's say, the Greek Union of Energy Communities that has a key objective of performing advocacy activities, but we also have a third level, let's say, networks at the European or even at the global level. And we have also civil society organizations. All these groups are very crucial for advocacy, for networking, for exchanging knowledge, and for providing capacity building and awareness. Then we have the members, of course, which are organic part of energy communities. We have universities and research centers are very, very crucial, and they help already a lot for energy communities to be developed. We have another group, could be service providers, startups, technical startups, technology providers, constructors, that they provide services, products to energy communities. Of course, they're very, very crucial, and SolarHub would like to focus on that and to work with them and to explain to them again what energy communities are about, what are the needs, and how they can develop products, services, solutions for that could be sold and could be used by energy communities. And of course, we have also the local and regional authorities where they can play a very important role. Now, we will continue to say a few words about the different models and the different activities. Some of them are a little bit complicated. Some of them are mature in some countries, not really mature in other countries. But we think that it is a matter of time for all these different models and these activities that we will present to be applicable by energy communities. And of course, it really depends, and it really depends on the regulations that are available, the technologies that are available, the financing mechanisms available, and a wide group of enablers or disablers for having these business models available. But we strongly believe that sooner or later, all of them can be utilized by energy communities. I will go very briefly into that, although there are quite a lot. So we have separated them, we have grouped them in different pillars, and we will dive deeper later on into each pillar. So one is about commercial generation. This is about an energy community to gather money, to gather capital from its members, and maybe also, if this capital is not sufficient, to work with the bank and to gather capital and to invest in a commercial project. That could be a solar park or a solar farm or another project, and the energy that is produced is sold to the grid, is sold to the market, and the profit and the surplus that is generated can be distributed to the energy communities in a fair and democratic way. So it's about selling something, selling energy, collect the money, and share it to the members. This is quite straightforward. We will say again a few words about it. Another group of activities is not about producing energy, but it is about saving energy and improving the efficiency of the energy consumption. this is growing. This has a growing interest, and it will be promoted a lot because it is not about producing more and more clean energy. Of course, we need it, but at the same time, we need to preserve it and save it and improve its efficiency. Another thing that an energy community can do in some countries, we don't see that in Greece, but it is something that it is quite common in Spain. It is quite common, I think, in the US, but definitely also in France, in Germany. Energy communities can become suppliers. They can produce part of the energy that they supply to the members, or they can just buy energy from, let's say, the energy market and sell it to the members. So operate as an energy supplier. But it is an energy supplier that does not belong to private investors, but it belongs to its customers. So imagine like that there are consumers all over Turkey, and when they reach a critical number, usually it is over 50,000 consumers, they create an energy supplier and they buy the electricity from the market, or part of it they produce it by themselves, and they sell it to their members, sell it back to themselves. So they issue the electricity bill, they collect the money, again, they buy the electricity, they give it back to the members, issue bills, collect money, and this is what they do. They buy and sell electricity, but they don't sell it to customers, they sell it to members. Again, it is quite complicated, and you need to have a big number of members in order for this model to be viable and sustainable. But it is something that it is happening in, especially in Spain and in France, and it is quite a successful example. Another thing that they can do, again, it is not very common, is that they can also operate the local grid. They can buy, they can rent, and they can manage the local grid. I will not go into details. It is not very common, again. Maybe it used to be in some cases in the past. For instance, about a century ago, in the US, there were energy cooperatives where they built the first parts of the grid before the state and the government took care of connecting all the country. So, but according to the law, according to the European directives, this is something that energy communities are eligible to at least try to do it. There are some cases in Germany, for instance, but it is not very common. Another thing that they can do, and it doesn't need a lot of capital, is of course to help their members. It is a trustworthy organization for the members because the members are not clients. The energy community doesn't have something specific to sell and to get money from the members. Usually we see that energy communities have some dedicated engineers, some dedicated consultants that they help their members to for instance, to choose an energy supplier that is suitable, or to provide some information on how to install, let's say, how to choose and how to follow the process of replacing a heat pump, for instance. So they do all sorts of support and consultancy to their members because they are considered as a trustworthy party for their members to share, to provide consulting. Another thing that we see is electric mobility. We have a small example later on, electric mobility, electric charging. We see energy communities that they have installed chargers for electric vehicles. So they buy a fleet of electric vehicles, and they share this fleet among their members. So electric mobility is something that it is growing interest all over the world, I think. Another very important thing, and it is something that I'm personally very interested on, that is about flexibility. Flexibility has to do on how to adapt the production to the consumption, and vice versa, actually the consumption to the production. We will say a few words about it later on. Usually it has two forms. One is through storage, through batteries, let's say. Of course, there are other means of storage apart from batteries, but let's say that the most popular ones, and especially the ones that can be utilized by energy communities, are batteries, big or small or medium size. And the other thing has to do with demand response. So through smart technologies, the idea behind demand response is how we can adapt our demand in order to fit the production of the renewables. Another thing that I don't know if I need to go. Yeah, anyway, I will share a few ideas about it. It's about self-consumption. It is very close to the first one, the commercial generation. But the difference here is that the energy that is produced is not sold to the grid and we don't get money for it, but we just use it for covering the needs of the members. That could be individual self-consumption or collective self-consumption. Individual self-consumption means that I install a solar panel on my rooftop, and I use the energy that is produced. And then, if I need more, then I buy from the grid. That can also become can be implemented in a collective manner, in a collective way. So in that case, we have the collective self-consumption model. And out of all the different business models that we shared here, right now, most probably right now, that could be a different case in the years to come. But right now, the most let's say, good model at this point is the collective self-consumption model. At least our organization is promoting and is working with energy communities that they want to develop collective self-consumption projects. So this is mainly is done through solar technologies. Could also be done through wind, etc. But solar are more mature right now and cheaper and could be implemented in a smaller scale. So imagine that we have a solar park. We collectively build a solar park. So we don't do, we have a bigger solar park, and each member buys a specific share of this solar park. For instance, in my case, because I'm also member of an energy community that has developed a collective self-consumption project, what I have done is I have measured my consumption in my household on an annual basis. So I have measured that I need 5,000 kilowatt hours per year. So what I did, instead of installing a rooftop on my, a solar panel on my rooftop at a certain capacity, that this capacity could produce 5,000 kilowatt hours. For instance, could be 3 kilowatt. 3 kilowatts can produce approximately 5,000 kilowatt hours, very roughly speaking. Instead of doing this, we joined forces. I joined forces with other members from my city, and we created an energy community, and we created a bigger solar park. We installed this solar park outside the premises of the city. I bought a specific percentage of this park that was 100 kilowatts. I bought 3%. So that means that to me belong the 3 kilowatt. And the energy that is produced by this 3% is deducted from my electricity bill. So in an annual basis, let's say that this solar park produces 150,000 kilowatt hours. 3% of this 150,000 kilowatt hours belong to me. At the same time, in my household, I consume 5,000 kilowatt hours. So this is how I managed to reduce my energy bill, because I'm only charged for the difference. If I consume more than the energy that is produced by this 3% of the collective solar park, I pay only for this of this extra amount that I consume. So this is an example that it is really, it has to do with the context and the business model in Greece, but I will go again very, very briefly. I already explained that. Instead of 5,000 kilowatt hours, here is 4,500. Anyway, it doesn't make much difference. So it is a comparison between joining an energy community and not joining an energy community and developing a collective solar park. So what I save the energy that I consume. So I'm not charged for the energy that is consumed, that I consume. Of course, I keep paying for the fees for the grid, both for the TSO and the DSO, some social tariffs, some renewable tariffs, some other costs, for instance, the municipal costs. So at the end of the year, in my household, I pay instead of 7,600, around 800 euros per year. Now I pay around 300 per year. So this is more or less how it works. And here is an example. Let's say that Celine wants to join this energy community. What Celine does is she measures the energy that is consumed in her house in an annual basis. Based on that, she decides that, for instance, she needs 3 kilowatt. Instead of installing this 3 kilowatt on her rooftop, she buys 3% of the collective solar park. The cost is very, very rough. It's, let's say, around 3,000 euros. So the annual benefit of Celine is around 500 euros. So on the other side, if Celine wants to have this benefit to reduce the electricity bill by 500 euros per year, what she does is that she buys 3% of this solar park, and this is how it works. Again, apart from Celine, could be a local SME that also wants to join the scheme, and it works more or less the same. So at the end of the day, we have a full project of 100 kilowatt, where each member has a different percentage depending on the needs that she or he wants to cover. I will go very briefly to this other potential business models. Another thing apart from collective collective self-consumption is about energy flexibility. We will hear more and more in the coming years about flexibility, about energy flexibility. And the reason for that is that so far with traditional fossil fuels, for instance, with oil, with natural gas, with lignite, with coal, we had this great advantage of increasing or decreasing the production of the electricity because some machines were used to produce the energy. So what the TSO could do is to see at any time the consumption, and according to the consumption to put more or less fuel in these machines and to produce more or less energy. So that was a very easy way to do it, but unfortunately, this is not how the sun and the wind work. So there are certain times of a day that there is more sun. During the night, we don't have sun. So now we need to follow a different pattern. We will need to change the pattern and to some extent our behavior as consumers in order to match the production to the consumption. Although so many years we, based on the consumption, we were able to manage the production. Now we need to pay attention to the production and to try to adapt the consumption. Again, this could be done either by having storage, which is, of course, something that we will do up to a certain extent, but also we will need to change our behavior, and with the support of smart technologies, we will be able to consume on energy when it is available. For instance, if there is a day full of sun, it makes more sense to put on my washing machine when my solar park is producing energy, rather than doing it during the night, as it was the case in the previous years. This is more or less how, unfortunately, the sun and the consumption works in a household. We wake up in the morning, we have the first peak of energy consumption because we are getting ready to go to the school or go to the work. But unfortunately, at the time, there is no much sun yet. Then we leave home, and unfortunately, at the time, we have the peak sun hours. And then we get back home, and we want to do the washing, we want to do the dinner, etc. So we have this peak in the consumption. The good thing is that the offices and the SMEs usually they follow the diagram of the sun hours, but unfortunately, this is not the case for the households. And here, the solution is either through storage or through demand response to shift production or consumption to different hours. Of course, there is a need for lots of research, lots of technologies, lots of smart technologies in order to achieve that. But this is something that we will see a lot again and again in the coming years. Um, yeah, so this is what energy flexibility is about, and these are the different loads, the different appliances that we can adapt and we can change and shift the loads. Of course, the electrification helps a lot. For instance, having heat pumps, having electric vehicles. The electrification of the consumption helps a lot on achieving these storage and demand response activities. I will not go into details about the benefits, but there are benefits for the grid, for the environment, and for the society. I guess the presentation will be shared with you, and we will have the opportunity to discuss it further on. Another thing that we might see over the coming years, and the net communities can help a lot, is about make use of the dynamic tariffs. Although we had so far a stable throughout the day, throughout the months, a stable tariff. For instance, we make an agreement with a supplier and we buy the electricity from the supplier at a constant price of, let's say, 10 cents per kilowatt hour. What we gradually see, we see that the amount of the cost of the tariff will change even within the day and even within the hour or even every 15 minutes. But let's say, as it is right now, every hour, the price in the stock market, the electricity stock market is different. We have right now in Greece and in many other countries, we have zero or even minus negative electricity prices during midday, and we have very, very high prices in the evening. So again, this is something that energy communities can play with. Yeah, of course, more or less the same. The green bars dictate that during the sun hours, the energy mix is cleaner. So by shifting our consumption to these green hours, usually they're really linked to the solar hours, as we call them. The energy mix is cleaner. So apart from the economic benefits, we all have strong environmental benefits to try to consume when there is more sun available. Yeah, very briefly about a third pillar of the business models. We have the commercial generation, as we said in the beginning, which is about producing electricity and sell it to the grid or to the market. This can be done in a feed-in tariff, so that means a fixed price for buying the electricity. At least in Greece now, this is not the case. It used to be several years ago, but for some years now, this is not the case. I guess this will be more or less the same in Turkey and other countries as well. But that was something that existed for many years as an incentive for investors to invest in solar projects. So there was a guarantee that the price will be sold at a fixed price. So through that, the investors could get money from the bank and secure that their investment would be sustainable. similar to the feed-in tariff we had, and maybe in some cases it still exists. Again, this is not the case in Greece anymore. We have the feed-in premium. Now we are getting into a little bit more complicated models that are again suitable for commercial generation, but really depend on the different contexts in the different countries. We have the contract for difference or the PPAs. The contract for difference, let's say, is more a contract between private suppliers, energy communities, or private investors. So suppliers, producers, and let's say the government. In the power purchase agreements, it is more or less the same, but it is among two different private entities. For instance, a data center that has a lot of need for energy, a lot of consumption, could come to an agreement with a producer to buy electricity at a specific, let's say, price for a specific amount of time. Usually, power purchase agreements are valid for 5 to 10 years. It is really hard to find a power purchase agreement over 10 years. Energy saving is crucial. Energy efficiency is very crucial. Another thing is about the citizen-led renovation. There is this growing need for renovating our houses. This could be done through public programs by individuals, but we see a movement, as we call it now, of energy communities that they group the needs of their members for renovation. They try to access financing mechanisms, and they exchange knowledge on how to renovate their homes, not one by one, but in bulk. For instance, they buy in bulk some heat pumps. They buy in bulk some other equipment that are needed. So they do it in a more efficient manner, achieving economies of scale. EV sharing is another thing. Charging is another thing that we already said a few words, and we have some good examples. Energy supply. It is something that we already talked about it, how consumers can join forces and build an energy community that buys electricity from the market or through a PPA mainly, maybe, and they sell this electricity to their members. Distribution is about also renting or creating some microgrids, distributing energy, having the grid infrastructure, having the electricity network. Consulting services, we already explained to them. In bulk purchase, we see examples for energy communities that they buy in bulk heat pumps, and they also appoint a specific group of technicians to install these heat pumps in the members of the energy community. I will continue. There are no lots of slides left, but I will go very briefly to SWOT analysis that we have done. Of course, it is not, there are many things that we can discuss about it, but there are some key components about, for instance, the strengths. From what we have seen already, and from what we hope that you have understood, energy communities are a great actor of engaging in an easy manner and a viable manner the local communities. They're very good at grouping needs, at engaging and having energy communities, members, citizens, SMEs, and municipalities as members. So it is a very great model for mobilizing the local society, identifying needs, and bringing them on for implementing specific projects. They're very good at improving the public acceptance of renewables. It is very, very important. They have already very, very strong networks at national level and at European level and at global level. This is a very, very strong value of energy communities. They have access to knowledge. They have access to, they're there to exchange information. They are able to mobilize a wide network of supporters and volunteers. This is also a weakness that they depend quite a lot on volunteers, but at least there are so many community energy enthusiasts out there that they can be utilized and used for, in most cases, even free of charge in order to support the local energy communities to be developed and to implement projects. Yeah, they can build strong partnerships with local businesses, organizations, and they have what we say an organic relationship with the local society. It is not a company that is coming from abroad, even from another part of the country or from another part of the world to invest in a specific area, which is not bad, of course. But here we are talking about a different model, that a complementary model, that it is about local citizens, that they develop their local energy communities, and it is for addressing the local needs and the local challenges. So this local aspect and the local perspective is very, very crucial. And through that, of course, it is able to mobilize the local society. The opportunities, and I'm mainly looking here at the startups and the other solutions providers that they're interested in supporting energy communities. Again, the partnerships are there. There are lots of opportunities for energy communities to work together with policy advisors. There are, of course, several grants for specifically designed for energy communities. And there is, yeah, a general, increased local interest on renewable energy projects and community engagement. At national level and at European level, we see energy communities being promoted everywhere. Regarding the weaknesses, and this is where different startups and different other actors can help out energy communities to tackle these weaknesses. There is a lack of knowledge and skills in most cases. There is a lack of infrastructures, solutions, platforms in order to do all these things that we have already shared with you. There is usually a lack of time because there is a strong reliance on volunteers. There is a strong reliance also on external financing and funding, although we have seen many cases where the members were able to fund 100% of the projects, but it really depends on the projects. If it is about a small project, usually the members are able to fund it, to provide the financing. But in bigger projects, for instance, offshore wind, which the capital is very, very high, then there is a need for collaboration with the bank or other financing mechanism. Of course, they're very sensitive to regulations and legal modifications. Regarding the threats, I will not go into the first one in detail because it is not really relevant to our today's discussion. But regarding the complexity of planning and permitting, this is a very big threat for energy communities, because energy communities are not, usually companies that they have experts, they have engineers, they have lawyers in order to help them with overcoming the planning and the permitting process. So this is usually a threat at the barrier for energy community. The grid saturation, the grid congestion, which is highly linked to the inability to get a license for projects. And again, the legislation, regulation modifications are very, very big threat, because at the end of the day, most of the business models we shared with you have to do with the electricity market and the electricity system. And the electricity system is is heavily regulated. So every amendment, every modification has a direct impact to the business models. Regarding the funding, very briefly, before we go to the to some good cases, some good examples. One source of funding, of course, comes and should come from the members, that they can gather capital and invest in a common project and in a common scope. The banks can also help out with community energy projects. Crowd lending, we had some experience with crowd lending platforms that can finance, at least to some extent, community energy projects. Finally, there are some European financing sources. We have shared here some information, but I will not go into detail now. You can see it in the presentation. But the ones highlighted with yellow are the ones that include provisions for energy communities. For instance, one of the 6 pillars of the European financing landscape for innovation, cohesion, natural resources, and environment. In all of them, in all these 3 pillars, there is a specific, energy communities are explicitly mentioned. And again, this is a breakdown of the different pillars, these 3 different headings, as we call them. For instance, for research innovation, Horizon Europe is a program that supports energy communities in the research projects. SolarHub is one of them. SolarHub is a Horizon Europe program. But not only for research, but also in investments. There are the InvestEU and Connecting Europe facility. It is an investment tool that also highlights the significance of having energy communities on board. Regarding the cohesion, again, here there are different, in red, some priorities and some specific mechanisms. Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have the time to go through the actual impact and, most important, the social impact of energy communities. But again, there are, let's say, 10 different pillars where the energy communities have a very strong social impact. We have created, together with RESCOP EU, which is the European Federation of Energy Communities, we have created a booklet that identifies and highlights these social impacts of energy communities. And this is actually the difference between energy communities and other stakeholders, because every company, every private investor that wants to invest in renewables, of course, there is a strong economic impact, there is a strong environmental impact, but on top of that, energy communities have an additional social impact. And these are dictated and listed in this small booklet that you can find available. So now we need to close, I think, in 10 minutes. So I will pass the microphone back to Typhoon or Elsen. I don't know who can share a few words about some good practices, mainly focusing in Turkey. We will say a few words about Greece, but we will prioritize the examples from Turkey.
Thank you so much, Dimitris. I will present the good ones, the brave ones, we can say. This is the end of the presentation, so I would like to present a few examples without tiring participants too much. So we talk about challenges of economy, regulatory, lack of knowledge, and lots of things. In the end, let's salute the brave ones here, because we have not so many, but about 40 energy cooperatives as a community energy model in Turkey. And next slide, please. These are the well-known ones, especially they are working so hard for many years. Troy Energy, Seferihisar, these are the main ones for working, especially for these legislative issues too. And they got their members, they are advocacy for these climate issues and local governments too. Next slide, please. In Turkey, especially, we are seeing that in the Asian part, Asian electricity generation, this is the first one for maintenance to make a cooperative together. But the first and successful one is Kayseri Furniture Makers Renewable Energy Cooperative. It has above 700 members. They are all furniture designers and manufacturers, and this has a capacity of 5 megawatts energy cooperative in Kayseri. Next slide, please. This is a picture of these cooperatives, rooftop style, as you can see, and it's operating since August 2018. So these are the most successful one. And as you can see, the rooftop project for a manufacturer. Okay, next slide, please. This is an important project for us too, as Günder, because this is a renewable energy cooperatives in forest villages. This is a project of UNDP development program for sustainable development goals. And we finished this project as a partner also. Günder was a partner of this project 3 years ago for forest villages on solar power plants. Also, I would like to mention that especially in the community-based projects in Turkey, we have mostly photovoltaic ones. Maybe because of the easy to install and a short time, maybe after a couple of years, we can see the wind ones, geothermal ones too. This is a project also Orkö PV photo pictures. As you can see, some rooftops and some ground ones we have. Next slide, please. This is a map of Turkey, and we would like to show you here the 2 forest villages in this Orkö PV. They are working successfully, and the other ones are rooftop style projects in forest villages. This is an important picture because I would like to show you that we have these opportunities to use energy communities so well, so mostly in all over the country, but we haven't got too many because like these Orkö PV projects, after a while, some legislation and technical problems can you turn you down and you need to change your project rooftop or another style, but not a community energy style. So to sum up, I would like to mention that in summary, while energy communities in Turkey are on rising state, this is a rising stage, but this is growing so slowly. But the growing interest and significant potential for their development, especially in the context of Turkey's renewable energy goal, is increasing so fast. Legislative and financial support is so crucial here. This concept becomes a more integral part if we can handle these parts. So I would like to say that the role of community energy planning is also important for decentralization policies in all over the world. You know, not to being dependent on central government policies, and it is necessary for energy democracy. To sum up in Turkey context, decentralization and empowers communities by distributing control and decision making and fostering innovation and resilience through collective collaboration and shared ownership. This is important, and we have a lot to do in Turkey, but we are trying to do it our best.
Thank you very much. Just before we close, we also have a very good examples at, let's say, the European and the global level. One very good example, of course, is RESCOP EU, which is not an energy community, but it is a federation of energy communities with over 1,500 members, representing over 2 million citizens already. We have examples like Somobilitat from Spain, where they have a fleet of electric vehicles that we share. We have some upcoming community offshore wind projects in Belgium. And we have several different energy communities in Greece. Right now, actually, we are in these 2 days, yesterday and today, we are organizing the first assembly, the first conference actually of the newly established Union of Energy Communities in Greece. So now we, apart from different good cases, we now have a federation, a national federation of energy communities. I will say a few examples before we close. From Greece, we have an energy community that works on biomass. So it is not only about solar, as Elsen also mentioned that it is not only about solar. So we have energy communities that they have created an energy community in central Greece where they built a small plant that gathers agricultural leftovers from local farmers and the local agricultural cooperatives, and they turn it to wood pellets for heating purposes. We have energy communities working on demand-side flexibility and demand response solutions. Collective self-consumption, of course, there are many energy communities working on that. There are other bigger projects, for instance, in the island of Crete. The local energy community is going to develop a wide group of projects, not only solar but also wind, geothermal, energy saving, and they will test and they will see how they can be interconnected for the local benefit. As part of SolarHub, we are now developing this first community-based urban agrivoltaic project in Greece, together with the local municipality. We work a lot on energy poverty. We are trying to save arable land by installing solar parks on industrial buildings. We even test some things on how to work on, for instance, having ships supporting the community energy project by eating the grass. So this is a picture from an energy community that is testing that. So yeah, that was more or less. Unfortunately, we run out of time now because it is 3 o'clock, so we don't have the opportunity for having questions, receiving questions. We know that there might be plenty of questions, but it is really a promise from our side that we are here to discuss. You can send us an email or arrange for a call to discuss on a specific topic. And of course, we would encourage specifically a group of entrepreneurs, a startup that has an idea after all these things that we have shared with you. If you want to develop something further, if you want to learn more on how energy communities internally operate and how you can work together with them, we are here to facilitate this discussion, to bring you in contact with energy communities, to identify needs, to provide and test solutions. This is what we do as SolarHub, and of course, this is what we do as Electra. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Dimitris.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Dimitris.
much.
Actually, thank you, Elsen, Esen, and Selin for organizing this event. Well, to summarize, to wrap up, I would like to say that we have certain global challenges that are ahead of us. First of all, the climate change, which will has impact on the water consumption, and the food, our food resources. Then there are certain other challenges like the mass immigrations and gender, democracy, the just transition of energy transition. All those matters are important, and the way we think of the energy system with the large-scale investments for the energy generation and the central management, needs to be changed in the future. And energy communities is a very important aspect, important tool for achieving these, coming up with these challenges. And therefore, today we made a brief introduction, like a 101 for energy communities. And all the topics, all the items that we have mentioned throughout this presentation, you can go and search for details, look for details, and you can consult with us if you need further assistance and knowledge. And well, thank you for everyone to joining this event. And again, thank you for the speakers.
Thank you so much. Before we close, I actually would like to give the good news, Dimitris, about Eco Project. One of the many good deeds of SolarHub is that we evolve another ideation and realizations of these ideations. So, and one of them is that, in fact, in 2025 January, we plan to kick off our Eco Project, which is an energy community excellence sub-project combining Turkey, Greece, and Portugal. These three countries are abundant when it comes to renewable energy, but having a serious problem with the consumption. A great core of ECO, the consortium, derived from SolarHub consortium. So and Dimitris and Electra will be in the project as well. So if you become a stakeholder, so you will have an access to Dimitris. But as I said, like if you're generally interested in this phenomena of energy communities, you're welcome to contact us after the event. You all have my email address because I send you the meeting details. So you can just like email me and we can make sure that you're becoming our stakeholder in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.